It's that time of year again, the time that I jump on the YouTube bandwagon thanks to Nando V Movies, and I join in on the one insert scene thing that he does that collaborates with a bunch of YouTubers. This year is one musical scene. I scoured my memory database, my mind palace, to try to find that one moment in my movie viewing history that uses music in such a way that I had to talk about it. Do I talk about how Four Lions used this Northern English Islamic extremist group belting the top loader cover of Dancing in the Moonlight as they're on their way to bomb the London Marathon, and how their singing is defined by their specific characters? Do I discuss the use of evanescence in the brilliant film Daredevil, and how using Bring Me to Life specifically, having the female and male vocals represent the angst that the male and female character are feeling in their specific suiting up montages? Do I show how Eurotrip used its original piece, Scotty Doesn't Know, as an exclamation point on the inciting incident of the main character, thereby not just being a straight up banger and one of the greatest cameos in cinema history, but also have it be this key piece of character development for... what was his name? The guy in the movie. No, that can't be it. I'll come to it later. But no, none of those are the answer. I had to dig deep into my cinematic knowledge reservoir to find the right scene to talk about. And the piece of cinematic art that I mined in the coal mines of my movie knowledge was Hot Rod. Hot Rod was released in 2007 and has a fascinating production history. The script was written by Pam Brady, a collaborator in South Park, and the film was originally meant to be a vehicle for Will Ferrell. Then after that fell through, Lorne Michaels decided to try to have some of his new kids try it out because in 2005, Andy Samberg was on the cast, and Jorma Taccone and Akiva Schaffer were writers. So it is a film that was written by a South Park writer with the bones and story structure of a Will Ferrell vehicle, but the added madcap insanity of The Lonely Island. And this confluence of comedic giants came together to be released in 2007, and it made $14.4 million on a $25 million budget. That is straight up criminal, America. Hot Rod is about aspiring stuntman Rod Kimball, played by Andy Samberg, who is in a perpetual state of adolescence. He lives at home with his mom and stepdad, played by, I shit you not, Sissy Spacek and Ian McShane. Jesus Christ, how did they get those actors? And his younger brother and team manager Kevin, played by Jorma Taccone. He hangs out with his friends and stunt crew, the mechanic Dave, played by Bill Hader, and the designer of the ramps, Rico, played by Danny McBride. But their jobs really don't matter. They all just kind of hang out and party.
None of them party, right?
But when Rod finds out his stepfather Frank is in need of a heart transplant, he decides that he's going to do one big stunt to raise the money.
I'm mainly just doing that so I can kick his ass.
Right.
This movie uses music brilliantly in every scene that it's in, and there are many. There are many that I could be talking about right now. I could bring up the shot-for-shot parody of the punch dancing scene from Footloose. I could bring out the montage set to Rock the Night by Europe, or literally all of the other Europe songs that are in here. Or I could even bring up the fact that Frank is introduced as a character by working out in his basement listening to the classic country western song A Gringo Like Me. But no, this scene that I want to talk about comes right after the character Rod's lowest moment, and the build-up to the big stunt at the beginning of Act 3. Rod is an incredibly sincere character, and he wants to be a stuntman to connect with his deceased father. Now, his mother told him that his father was a stuntman who performed all the stunts before Evel Knievel could do them to make sure that they were safe. His entire personality has been built around keeping this connection to his father alive. And after a serious moment of public humiliation, his mother finally tells him that Rod's father was not in fact a stuntman, but he died choking on a piece of cake. And this revelation brings Rod to crisis. He stops wearing his stuntman getup, he metaphorically throws away his motor bicycle, and he prepares himself to live a life of an adult person. It's only when he gets a pep talk from a tripping and severely wounded Dave that he realizes that he can and should continue the jump, finding meaning not from who his father was, but who he is. And unbeknownst to him, Kevin set up the jump with an AM radio station that will be collecting money for Frank's heart transplant. So morning comes and it's time for the jump. Before we go any further, let's talk about the use of music in cinema. And I'm not talking about the score, that's different. I'm talking about the use of popular music as needle drops in movies. There are two key ways that music can be used in a scene: diegetic and non-diegetic. Diegetic music is music that is played in the scene and the characters can hear it. Think of a character turning on a radio, a musical song and dance number, or even a character holding a boombox over their head playing Peter Gabriel's In Your Eyes because that's the song the girl in the window and he first had sex to. Basically, every song in that movie where cars go vroom, every song in that movie is diegetic. It is established to be being played in the ears of the main character. And non-diegetic music is used as the score. Think Hearts on Fire in Rocky IV. You know, the one where he beats the Russian. Every single Rolling Stones song that Martin Scorsese has used in his movies. And all those fun glam metal songs in Thor: Love and Thunder. Many times, though not always, non-diegetic music is used in the form of montages, whereas diegetic music is used in one single scene. So back to the scene. John Farnham's You're the Voice starts playing. It's this grand, epic song that evokes the idea that this is the moment this entire film has been building towards. We have American flags waving in the wind, Sissy Spacek opening the curtains, a sunrise on the bleachers, a close-up of an owl, and a parody of Roadhouse where Rod is doing Tai Chi at a lakeshore and an old man is oiling him up. The Lonely Island's proficiency in parody music videos is in full effect here, and it is brilliant. Rod leaves the house looking back to Frank, the man whose approval he desperately craves, and all he gets is a head shake as a response. This gives Rod the fuel to do what needs to be done, and he starts his long walk down the road. And as he marches his way towards his destiny, his crew members, every one of them he had spurned in the past, one by one they join him on this last leg of his journey. Other people are there too. That's cool. When the stunt crew turns a corner onto the main street of the town, a flood of people are following them. It's an epic montage, so the crowd has to be equally epic, right? It wouldn't be the same if it was just those four walking down the street. You need the entire backing of this local population to give this moment its power. But the thing is, the characters are utterly bewildered. They have no idea. They start looking to each other, looking back at the crowd, just have no idea why they're being followed. And as the music builds towards the chorus, the crowd size becomes just preposterous. It's as if this motorcycle stunt is some Pepsi commercial that stars Kendall Jenner or something. It is just wild. It was just used in The Boys this season, so yeah, it's topical, shut up. But once we get to the chorus, we cut to three random people in an uplifting pose singing along. The film turns the music from non-diegetic to diegetic in the blink of an eye. It is a brilliant subversion of many montages that can be seen in films like, well, the only one I can think of right now is Armageddon, but it's that one heroic moment where all of the characters are marching towards their destiny. The slow, purposeful walk towards destiny becomes so absurd that by the end of it, we have an entire crowd of people unrelated to our heroes singing along to an Australian power ballad. and the entire crowd chants along as the stunt team looks around in utter confusion. They are following them, cheering them in song. It all seems like this big, uplifting moment. A postman, this dude in sunglasses, a guy in overalls in the background there, a woman holding a briefcase. This is true Americana. But the film does something even more brilliantly with this song, incorporating the musical interlude that's kind of chaotic in the middle of the song. And they incorporate it by having a riot break out immediately following the lyric, "We're not gonna live with fear." Somebody throws a trash can through a plate glass window, and all hell breaks loose. Molotov cocktails, riot police, looting. Is that someone beating the shit out of a guy in a wheelchair? Yes, it is. They even make the bagpipe part of the song diegetic by incorporating pipers. And let's be honest with ourselves. How else would you end an absurd send-up like this, but with pure anarchy? So the use of the song, specifically as a parody of other films, is just a microcosm of what Hot Rod is. It's a postmodernist hero's journey story, where the film knows all of the tropes and films that came before it. We know them, and the film uses visual representations of the previous works as sorts of in-jokes with the audience. We know what a musical montage is supposed to look like and what it's supposed to feel like. We don't, however, think that the characters actually hear the song that the audience is hearing, let alone having an entire crowd sing it at them. And the final moments of this montage can be seen as just a funny way of explaining that society is a construct. It's not real, and every interaction we have with other people is just one violent moment away from devolving into total anarchy and chaos. Or maybe it's just like a funny thing to happen in a movie. I don't know. So everyone, please, go buy the DVD of Hot Rod at your local video store, or Amazon, I guess. Let's make Paramount wonder why sales of an obsolete way of viewing media for a movie that came out in 2007 is somehow spiking. And we're doing this to let The Lonely Island make another movie. Hot Rod was great. Popstar was great. They need to do more. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. Check out some of the other videos I have. There's a few more than last year. That's how time works. There are more. Mostly about Keanu Reeves, though. Yeah, thanks for watching. And check out more on this playlist. There's a bunch of fun stuff.